Well, we always let you know that Monday is Money Monday here. That means we like to take your email questions regarding finances. And Pat, this first one is from Jason, who says, what is the difference between a bull market and a bear market? I know it has something to do with the stock exchange, but not sure exactly what. Can you explain it?
I tell you, Jason, you're not exactly up to speed on things, are you? But theoretically, the bull is going up. That's a market that has a trend that is moving up. It has some down tips, but it's the basic trend is up. A bear market is doing the opposite. It's starting to come down, and so there's a trend that indicates that they're selling. And I guess the bear tears with his teeth, and the bull throws with his head and throws it up. I don't know.
Okay, this is Jack, who says, I usually have an income tax refund of several $1,000s and spend it on some new computer game gear. This year, I think I need to grow up a bit and do something smarter with the money. What are some ways you would suggest I use the money instead? He's talking about several $1,000s.
Jack, I think the most important thing is that you'd begin to set up an account, hopefully an account with some stock that has dividends that pay significant amounts. And you could begin to set that, I would probably put it in what's called a Roth IRA, so that you don't have any tax deduction when it goes in, but you don't pay any taxes when it comes out. It stays sheltered in that. So you need to begin to build something like that up. And that's what I would do more than anything else. Of course, if you have heavy credit card debts and they're charging you 20, 25, 30%, you ought to pay them down first.
Get rid of your debt first and then save.
Yeah.
This is Michelle, who says, I noticed that the government is redesigning the $100 bill. Do you know what kind of safeguards they're using in the design to prevent counterfeiting?
Well, they have so many. They change the paper. There's various things in the paper that have different colors.
Holograph kind of thing on some of them.
They've got the holograph, but they've got a whole new design coming out right now. And certain bills will change colors. They'll have a glow like blue or gold or something. And I mean, it's quite complex what they do. And apparently, counterfeiting was a big deal a few years ago. I mean, there was a group of people coming out of Lebanon who were just rife counterfeiters, and they were doing an excellent job because the reproduction machinery that is available right now is quite precise. So the government had to take steps to, they have offsets on the pictures, they have things behind the pictures, they have stuff around the corners. I mean, you could go into great detail, but it's been quite carefully thought out. And they're even going to the $5 bill now. It's not just the hundreds. Right.
Okay, this is Karen, who says, when I shop or go out, I love to go to local businesses. My husband says they're more expensive than the big box stores, but I can't help feeling that if we don't patronize these mom and pop places soon, we won't have any local businesses left to go to. What do you think?
I think that's a very wise conclusion. These people know you. They're your friends. You go in and they say, hello, Mrs. Jones. Here's your husband, and I know...
Boy, that's rare and nice today,
It
isn't
is,
it?
but I know you like a particular kind of food, and we just got this in, and here's a can I've saved for you. I mean, that kind of stuff. You don't get that at Walmart.
Yeah, years ago it used to be like that everywhere.
Yeah, but not any longer. So by all means, patronize those people. So if you spend a couple pennies more, I mean, so what?
They're your friends.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Drew, who says, my wife and I really need to sell our home this summer, and I know the housing market is more difficult these days. Since we're both pretty handy, we thought about renovating the kitchen. Is it a good idea to add home improvements to try to sell a home these days?
I think the most important thing you need is so-called curb appeal. You need to dress it up outside to give a good impression. So when people look at it, they say, oh, isn't this pretty? There's just a nice feeling. You've got some nice bushes and maybe a paint job and so forth. And if one of the shutters has fallen loose, you fixed it up so it didn't, you know. That kind of thing will probably do more to help sell your house. Kitchens are important improvement, but some people say it depends on the part of the country. In some parts of the country that this is a premium, other parts people couldn't care less.
Well, so, I watch Home and Garden TV for relaxation sometimes, and they say kitchens are the #1 thing to improve. I mean, curb appeal certainly, but I mean from an interior standpoint, you get more bang for your buck.
Well, the woman wants to know about the kitchen, and I mean, you've got to make plenty big islands and counters and all that stuff, and if you can do it, but don't blow a lot of money on fixing up your house because you will not recover it, regardless of where you put the money.
Okay, this is Ella who says, with the price of gas continuing to go up, I really need to save some money on my car costs. Do you have some tips that will increase my car's fuel efficiency?
Make sure your car is tuned up. Make sure that you don't have jackrabbit starts when you come off. You accelerate slowly and stop slowly. If you drive at 55, you can save an enormous amount of gas over driving at 70, 75, for instance. Make sure the air filter is clean. Make sure you've got good oil in your crankcase. I mean, there are a number of things like this that will, and especially your tires are inflated. If your tires are underinflated, it'll sap up gas like crazy. So, just a few little things that you can tune it up.
Yeah,
Get
and
three
none
or
of
four.
those things are very expensive.
No, you can get 3 or 4 more miles to the gallon. All right.
Okay, this is Matt who says, a year ago, I relocated to get a job in another state. I still have $40,000 in a state teacher retirement plan back where I used to live. Since the fund has performed fairly well, are there any reasons why I need to move the money at this time?
Not that I know of. If you're happy and they're happy, it's your money, and if it's still building up, it's building up tax-free. So
absolutely.
leave it alone.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, that's all the time we've got for your Money Monday questions today, but we welcome them. So if you'd like to email them to us, we'll try to get to them in a future show.